We'd like it to be so. We really would. But we doubt you'll see scenes like this at today's Caulfield Cup. It's 1946, and the people, 108,000 of them, came to see Burnborough. Burnborough, hero to the post-war generation, did finish only 5th. But Tulloch, idol to the next generation, he didn't let us down in 57.
But the magnificent Tulloch passes him easily. With a glorious burst of speed, Tulloch quickly establishes a winning margin.
We thought he was the best Caulfield Cup winner we'd ever see.
To go back on the rails.
Until this day in 97. Might and Power, with his legs going everywhere. Might and Power stretching his lead. 4 lengths. Now 5. Now 6.
What a win, he's won it by 7 lengths.
And did you see the Andercross just fail in 92? If he'd gone any wider, he could have caught the 358 to Flinders Street. And remember Torfan's Melody in 98? Yeah, Champagne remembers him well. Never dull this race. Never dull. Sometimes even the trainer comes back injured. It still manages a lopsided smile. It's Cup Day at Caulfield, and as George will tell you, winning makes up for everything.
Classic Caulfield today on 2002 Carlton Draft Caulfield Cup Day. The crowds are pouring in here. Big crowd expected, maybe up to about 40,000, even more, for what is one of the great days. It certainly is. The first leg of the most famous double in Australian sport is the Caulfield Cup. And today, Platinum Scissors runs also in the Norman Robinson. That's the next race on the program. We've had 3 races down so far, and the next race is the Group 2. But the track and weather, firstly the weather, going for 21 today, currently around about 15, 16 degrees. There is a fresh breeze here today. The track is perfect. The penetrometer reading very similar to last week. It was 4.11 last week, it's 4.01. The rail is 6 metres out, where it has been for the last few Caulfield Cup days. So what's ahead of us after 3 races so far today? We've had a bit of drama too, with the protest being dismissed in race number 2. We've got the Amy Norman Robinson coming up, $200,000 Group 2. Then the Snow White Cleaning Coongy Handicap Group 3. The Melbourne Racing Club Stakes, a Group 3 worth $125,000. The $250,000 National Telecoms Group Sprint. And then the Group 1 $2.5 million Carlton Draft Caulfield Cup. And then race 9 today, Group 3 for the mares, the Trowers, Carlton Draft Tristarc Stakes. Max Presnell with me. Max, we've seen some terrific racing already, but the main fair is about to start.
Yes, the Caulfield Cup, and of course last week we saw the creme de la creme, weight for age racing, the Yalumba. Caulfield Cup's a different race. This is a more demanding race, if anything. It's where the lesser lights get a chance against the top class horses. It brings the best out in both horse and jockey, and is very, very competitive.
No doubt about that. We've seen plenty of competition at Caulfield, that is for sure, today, and also on Guineas Day last week. The totes now for the Amy Norman Robinson. Let's see what the 3-year-olds are paying.
Number 1, Platinum Scissors, $3.30. 2, Masquerado, $25.40. 3, Clangalang, $15.50. 4, Hydrometer, $14.40. 5, Ain't Here, $9. 6, Dandyish, $31.90. 7, Bushfire, $25.30. 8, Sylvester, $15.10. 9, Davidoff, $6.60. 10 JV $70.10, and 11 Soprana $3.50.
So Davidoff and Soprana certainly in the market. The big talk right now at Caulfield is that Sunline's Cox Plate race will be her last run. She will be retired. After the Cox Plate, that's next week. Craig Williams joins us. Craig flew in from Hong Kong yesterday. It was a bit of a trip getting here, Craig, riding the second mortgage. You've got 5 rides today. The first of them is in race number 5. Good to be back at Caulfield?
Oh, yeah, it's great to be home and back in Melbourne.
You've done a fair bit of jet setting over the last couple of years, both in Europe and also Hong Kong.
Yeah, my frequent flyer points are quite high, and but it's always great to come home. Unfortunately, we had a little bit of a hold-up this time. We were delayed probably 13 hours, so bit of a pain in the backside, but back home, so it's good.
Better you than the horse, Craig. And what about the second mortgage today? I know you would have been a keen listener last week when he won the lead-up race, the Winning Edge, and I know you were quickly on the phone to your brother to try and get the rider. He had a perfect run, didn't he? Kerry McAvoy gave him every chance, and he finished strongly.
Yeah, well, at this stage, I was actually in the bathtub, and I was on the phone to my parents before I went to my own meeting in Hong Kong, and I had a cornetto on one hand and the phone in the other, and they said, oh, he's just got up and won, and we tried to get the ride straight away because he was in the cup, and I had to put the cornetto down because he had 50 and nearly went under the bubble, so it was good.
Craig, you've ridden in Great Britain and Europe in recent years, and they've got a rather restricted style of using the whip over there. I take it that if the second mortgage needs one in the Caulfield Cup, you'll be able to go beyond the 3 or 4 they're allowed in Europe?
I'm Australian. but no, look, my style's definitely changed. But I really emphasise more on pushing the horse and really upper body strength. So, but it seems to be effective. So we'll see how we go today.
You've had terrific success. You won the Dewhurst Stakes at Newmarket. You've won a lot of group races over there, and you've certainly carried your form into England successfully. Just one final word. What about the English horses, the European horses? You probably know as much as anyone about them. Beekeeper today, have you had a chance to see him?
Yeah, look, he's a very good horse, and he has travelled well. You must respect all the European horses when they come. Their staying form is exceptional, and they are trained to stay. They're the fittest horses that I've ever ridden for the way they train, but they still have to come to our part of the world. They have to acclimatise and handle our racing. But if they can do that, we're going to be always so competitive, which is great for our racing.
Last real quick word. Where do you want to be on the second mortgage at the first turn?
I want to worry about second lap, first past the post.
Fair enough. Good answer. Thanks, Craig. Good luck.
Thanks very much.
Craig Williams, who's riding the second mortgage in the Carlton Draft Caulfield Cup. Then the mounting yard for the Amy Norman Robinson Stakes. Platinum Scissors. The first time I've had a good look at him. Boy, he's done a lot in a short time. He won the Spring Champion last start. Second in the Gloaming. Got beaten by a horse called Lonhro before that in the Chelmsford.
Yes, a very good run in the Chelmsford. Should have finished closer, but Gay Waterhouse has got him looking magnificent today. There is no doubt that he is a classic colt, the true meaning of the expression.
Mascarado number 2. He won the Gloaming, beat Platinum Scissors, then was third in the Spring Champion, so they've come through the same races.
Yes, Mascarado has the ability. Sometimes he races erratically, but I could see Mascarado creating an upset, but everything would have to go his way.
Clangalang, ridden up last up, was fourth in the Spring Champion. Now, he won the Spring Stakes at Newcastle, which has got a bit of form about it over the years.
A very strong form race, but Clangalang has got to handle the 2,000 metres today as well as he handled the 1,600 metres at Broadmeadow, that's Newcastle. That's the query with him, but by gee, Gerald Ryan's got a nice glow about him.
Hydrometer jumps from 14.20 at Flemington to 2,000 metres. A most consistent horse. He was second in the size produce over 1,600 as a 2-year-old. Leon MacDonald and Kerry McAvoy are both informed trainer and jockey.
Yes, and certainly the horse is in form too. He's just got to extend, as you pointed out, to the 2,000 metres today, but looking at him, he will.
Ain't Here, number 5. Brett Preble to ride for Peter Moody. He won this race with a Malfi last year, Peter Moody, who then went on to win the Victoria Derby. Was second in the Stut Stakes behind Alanus and fourth in the Prelude here. That form looks very good.
Yes, Ain't Here is moving along nicely towards a Derby a start, and from the 3 gate, Brett Preble up, Ain't Here should get a nice run, and that should carry him a long way.
Lee Friedman's had one winner already today. Stephen King, we know, has been in tremendous form with a couple of Group 1 wins through the Carnival. They combine with Dandyish. 8th at Flemington last start and 1 at Moonee Valley over 1,600 prior to that.
Yes, 8 out of 8 at Flemington, but led on that occasion. It wouldn't be surprising to see Stephen King ride dandyish quieter today.
Interesting bushfire, number 7, Brian Mayfield Smith, Glenn Boss. Only Geelong last start. It was a 1,700-metre race, but he bolted in by 4 lengths. He looks a horse on the up.
Yes, and that's the point. On the up today, I think we'll get an assessment whether that up is good enough to go on to the Classics, and certainly he's got the right trainer to do that. It's number 7, Bushfire, trained by Brian Mayfield Smith.
Sylvester, number 8, Matthew Ellison, the trainer, Greg Childs, the rider. He rode the opening winner today. He was 4th at Flemington last start and 3rd at Sandown prior to that.
Again, Sylvester was ridden perhaps a little bit closer than he appreciates. Back in the field today, could come with a late run, perhaps could jump into a place.
Davidoff's in the market. Damien Oliver rides for Michael Moroney. Looked most unlucky at Flemington last start when he was 3rd over 1,800 metres.
By gee, this horse is a strong tip in Melbourne. Certainly he hasn't got the race form or the credentials of the Platinum Scissors, but perhaps he's got as much potential. We'll see that today.
10 is JV. John Didham rides for his dad, Midge. He had some success in these big races. Midge Didham, 2nd at his last 2 starts behind Live Theatre at Seymour and Moonee Valley.
Well, good, nice rangy type. Gives you the impression he will stay. He's got to improve, but it is that time of the year.
Soprana, number 11. Well, we've seen one John Hawkes filly. This is probably his gun. She was 2nd in the Spring Champion behind Platinum Scissors and 5th in the T-Rose. Went up to Brisbane and ran 5th in the TJ Smith 2-year-old race, which has been a wonderful guide over the years. Darren Gauci and John Hawkes.
Soprana's always been going to be a top stayer, and I think she's just realising a potential now. Certainly Soprana hasn't gone back since a Spring Champion run. If anything, I'd say, like the number 1, she's improved considerably.
Away from the Caulfield Cup, this is the most interesting horse here today, Platinum Scissors. Gay Waterhouse, the trainer with Peter Donegan.
Gay Waterhouse, Platinum Scissors is a lovely individual.
Yes, he's really a Tom Cruise of the racecourse, isn't he? Handsome, he's masculine, he's big, he's bulky, he's everything you look for in a Danehill colt. And more importantly, he's got a stack of ability. And
he's got some pretty handy relations too, because he's related to that wonderful horse, Redute's Choice.
Yes, well, we were just talking about it before the race. What a wonderful broodmare that Mr. Gazim has. To think that she can throw the most precocious of horses in Redute's Choice and then throw this lovely horse, which is a real, middle distance staying type.
Gay, one of the good things about him is that you can ride him back or you can ride him forward. Do you want to give us a sneak preview?
Well, look, he'll be quite handy today. He certainly won't be leading or doing anything like that, but he'll be more handy than he was in the Spring Champion. The biggest thing is that he learns to handle Caulfield, and the wind's quite strong today. That's another factor.
And then straight into the Derby after this?
Yes.
Okay, before I let you go, you haven't got a runner in the Cup today. What's going to win it?
Well, for a bit of value, maybe Universal Prince.
Really? Okay, well, you're a good judge, so I'll stick with you. Gay Waterhouse, good luck.
Thank you, Peter.
3 of the last 7 winners of the Norman Robinson have gone on to win the Victoria Derby. They're on their way to the post. Peter and Gay was saying, Peter Donegan and Gay Waterhouse, how well bred this horse is. A Danehill horse, full brother to Redute's Choice, who beat Testarossa in a famous Caulfield Guineas in 1999. And there's just so much to like about him. Gay suggesting he'll be ridden a bit closer today than he was in the Spring Champion Stakes when he came from well back, but certainly not leading.
Yes, I don't know whether anybody would know what Jim Cassidy's going to do, and that goes for Cassidy himself. He lets the circumstances dictate what he does. But Gay was saying that Platinum Scissors looks like Tom Cruise, reminds her of Tom Cruise. I would have thought more Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, there's power about him, isn't there? Masquerado and Clangalang, both out in the market. From the betting ring, nothing much happening here. I mean, there's plenty happening, but no real changes. Platinum Scissors in and then out. Soprano a bit the same, so there's not a whole lot between the colt and the filly.
She's a nice staying filly, this Soprano. On weights and measures, she should beat Platinum Scissors, but Platinum Scissors is that type that has improved, but by gee, she hasn't gone back either. I think she's going to keep Platinum Scissors honest.
She's by Carnegie. Carnegie Express we saw run some great races in the autumn and almost got the derby over Don Eduardo. Fillies against the colts here. Interesting scale of weights here. Platinum Scissors with 57.5 has to give at least a kilo to everybody and has to give Soprano 6 kilos.
Of course, she is a filly, and that's one of the reasons for that. But certainly Platinum Scissors didn't have to give Soprano that much weight in the Spring Champion Stakes.
Well, I wonder how Platinum Scissors has rolled around to the barrier. Who better to ask than John Letts, who's right there on the spot?
Yeah, well, Platinum Scissors, he looks very, very well, very relaxed. He's got one of the attendants leading round at the moment, but a lovely horse, this Daniel horse. He looks very well, and the one of the Johnny Hawks from the Johnny Hawks stable looks Soprano looks very, very well too. And another horse, you know, we might be just casting him aside a little bit, Bruce, but Hydrometer looks very well. He's standing in front of me right now, very relaxed, and the horse is racing very well. But from the yard, and there's another horse here that looks well too, number 5, which is a horse called Ain't Here, from the Peter Moody stable, Brett Preble, and this horse looks very well down there at the barrier too. But from the barriers, I'd say the top weight looks the one.
Platinum Scissors there for John Letts. Here's Soprano coming up. Darren Gauci riding this filly for John Hawks. She was 5th behind Platinum Scissors. You can see there's not much between Platinum Scissors, who's just under 5-2 in the old bookmakers language, and Soprano is at 5-2, with Davidoff just over 6-1, and at 15-2 is Ain't Here. So they're the 4 that are dominating proceedings. Damien Oliver on Davidoff and Brett Preble on Ain't Here. So it's a bit of a Sydney versus Melbourne battle in the betting ring, and the 2 Sydney horses are the favourites.
Be interesting to see what Jim Cassidy does in the first 200 metres of this event, just what he's got in his mind for Platinum Scissors. Of course, he dropped him right out in the Spring Championship Stakes, created a lot of a furore at the time, but he was certainly very popular at the finishing post.
So Bushfire go in. Now, best back late, we've just been told from the ring is Soprano. So the filly's the best back late. JV goes up. So a couple to come up now for the Amy Norman Robinson Stakes, $200,000. What a guide it's been to the Derby. Here's our caller, Brian Martin.
Just waiting on Hydrometer to come forward here. Masquerado and Hydrometer to come along. The favourite on track now is Soprano, 360 on Super Tab, now 360 and 320 for Platinum Scissors. As the last couple come to the line now, Hydrometer coming along, Platinum Scissors is drawn out past the middle, drawn inside it is the filly Soprano. Wasn't much between them at the end of the Spring Champion, and now they're set. Norman Robinson, Signal, racing. Over on the inside, Davidoff bounced out quickly from Dandyish, and further out on the track here, showing some speed as Bushfire going back JV after the start. Now what's he going to do on Platinum Scissors? It's up midfield, a little wide early as Hydrometer whipped around the outside, and Hydrometer was charging forward about 3 lengths in front now from JV. A length and a half Bushfire, 1 further back Klingalang from Davidoff and Ain't Here. Then Dandyish, and he's out 3 deep on Platinum Scissors on the outside there of Masquerado. 2 lengths further back Sylvester, and last of all is Soprano. Paces a cracker up the back of the 1400 metre mark. Hydrometer on top, about 3.5 in front from JV. 4 or 5 further back Bushfire, outside at Klingalang. 2 lengths to Ain't Here from Davidoff. A length and a half to 2 further back Masquerado, who's on the outside of Dandyish, and now he's got back, but he's still 3 deep on this favourite Platinum Scissors. Outside Sylvester and Soprano the fence last of all. They've rolled over the top of the hill, 1100 out at Hydrometer. Try to be steady by the rider by 2.5 to JV. 3 further back in the race then came Klingalang. A length and a half to Bushfire, and Ain't Here on the outside 5th. 2 or 3 Masquerado. Still hasn't got in on Platinum Scissors, still 3 deep. On the inside, Davidoff, a length in Sylvester, followed by Dandyish and Soprano last of all. 700 out, and Klingalang taking forward on the outside. The saddle's moved on this, I'd say. Yes, it has. Klingalang's gone around Hydrometer, take the lead. A length further back Masquerado. Then came further back Platinum Scissors on the outside of Ain't Here. A length and a half to JV, dropping out from Sylvester. Well back in the race, Soprano pulled out deep. Klingalang just in front of Ain't Here, and Masquerado the middle when they turn. turn. 2 lengths for the back, Platinum Scissors and Soprano. In the straight, Hydrometer. Masquerado and 8 here has picked them up pretty quickly. Down the outside, Platinum Scissors, David Off and Sylvester behind those. It's 8 here moving up on the outside to get its head in front. Platinum Scissors still grinding away. Hydrometer coming back. Platinum Scissors on the outside and Hydrometer. Platinum Scissors going home better. Great performance this. Platinum Scissors ahead on the line. Hydrometer ahead to 8 here. Third followed for the back by David Off and Masquerado and Sylvester out wide. Then Soprano. A gap in the race into Klingeling. The rider was in trouble mid-race. Further back was Dandish, and the last two are Bushfire and company with JV.
Oh, how good is this? Oh, the Victoria Derby. I think we've got a new favourite, even though Helena's was impressive last week. This was some sort of a run. Platinum Scissors over Hydrometer, and Ain't Here. Hydrometer's fought back really well. Ain't Here's had a beautiful run, but Platinum Scissors never closer than 3 off the fence, forced to do a lot of work. Jimmy Cassidy certainly didn't panic. He knew what he had underneath him, and this full brother to Reduke's Choice is on the way to stardom in his own right. It really was an outstanding run. Here he is on the turn. He's poised, but he had covered a lot of ground. Hydrometer had made the pace and was a terrific run. He boxed on really well. Ain't Here had the run of the race in 3rd spot. He was about to take the lead. I've said at this point to Max, I don't know if Platinum Scissors can win, but when he was able to, Hydrometer kept going on the fence. Ain't Here looked the winner at this stage. Soprano's beaten with the baldy face on the left of screen. The impressive thing about Platinum Scissors that he really knuckled down here. Cassidy was quite kind to him, I think, in the last little bit. Had to make sure that he was going to win. Flemington, he's just going to love that big spacious track. Beats Hydrometer and Ain't Here. Not much between 4th, 5th and 6th.
I don't know whether Platinum Scissors really handled the Caulfield circuit. He covered a lot of ground. He proved much too good. I doubt the form. I know that Platinum Scissors is a damn good colt, but considering the way the race was run, it was a muddled up affair, but Platinum Scissors too good. Soprano, I thought, was disappointing.
Well, Jim Cassidy has got home and got home well in the end as he looks across and he's with John Letts.
Jimmy, and the later Jim Cassidy, what about the Derby now, Jim?
Yeah, look, it's great. If you're watching Melbourne, Colleen, he's won already early in the day for David.
And Jimmy, what about, you've ridden his brother, Reduke's Choice, and he's won the shorts and this one's won the longs.
Yeah, look, he's a real nice colt, this bloke. Guy's done a wonderful job getting him ready for the Derby, and had a bit against him today. First go at Caulfield, was 3 or 4 deep the whole way, but class goes a long way, doesn't it?
It certainly does. Nick, very quick question. Flemington handle him better?
Oh, you love Flemington. I can't wait to get there to ride him in the Derby.
Thanks, Jimmy, and hopefully we can, we're interviewing you before the Derby, after the Derby.
Thank you, mate.
From Jim Cassidy to Gai Waterhouse, those who took the short odds would have been reaching for the heart pills at the halfway mark. How are you?
No, I wasn't, because I'll tell you, I reached on the heart pills on the line because I wasn't sure where I was sitting if he'd won it. But I love the way he just tracked, and when he tracked with such enormous turn of foot. He was back 3rd last, and then boom, he was 6th, and then boom, he was 3rd, and then boom, he was there. And that's him. Really exciting colt. I mean, I've never trained a better horse. He's really outstanding. And
that's a big rap, Guy.
Yeah, I'm telling you, he's a really outstanding horse. And the lovely thing about him is he's so relaxed. He just shoots the breeze all the time. And you saw him shoot the breeze at Caulfield today.
Nothing like a Dane ran very well in this race a few years ago, and then you ran him in the Melbourne Cup. I know it's looking ahead after the Derby, but any thoughts at this stage?
If we ran in the Melbourne Cup, he'd win it. I told them the last 3 months that he'd win the Melbourne Cup if we ran it. Totally up to the owner.
Is that the plan, though?
What?
Is that the plan at the moment?
Oh, no. The plan's to win the Derby.
OK, thanks, Guy.
That's interesting, isn't it? If he runs in the Melbourne Cup, he'll win it. In 1957, Tulloch won the Caulfield Cup, and they didn't run him in the Melbourne Cup. Here's Gay's reaction, by the way. She's cheering home, and she said to Peter Donegan, I got a bit nervous towards the end. This is an important win for her because her successes in Melbourne have been few and far between. She's swept the board in Sydney. She's the first lady of Australian racing, and she's been able to get home here. Tulloch, they said, was a certainty in 57. Tommy Smith, her father, didn't run him in the Melbourne Cup. It was a talking point for 40 years, wasn't it?
Bruce, now for a start, we can't be mentioning Platinum Scissors in the same sentence as Tulloch.
I shouldn't.
But no, Tommy Smith was always felt that young horses, you know, they could go into the Melbourne Cup and win it. He was the driving force behind putting Nothing Like a Dane in the race.
Well, we've seen Nothing Like a Dane in 1985 win this race, win the Derby and run 2nd in the Melbourne Cup. And remember, from the Norman Robinson, In the last 7 years, on 3 occasions, a winner of the Norman Robinson has gone on to win the Derby, and Hit the Roof, who ran second a couple of years ago in this race, also went on to win. So it has been a fantastic guide. Hellenus and Platinum Scissors will be the 2 favourites for the Victoria Derby. That is for certain after today's Norman Robinson Stakes. Isn't it great to see Jimmy Cassidy winning and Gay Waterhouse, a feature race on Cup Day? Great crowds here on Cup Day. We welcome our viewers in South Australia to Carlton Draft Caulfield Cup Day on a fine day in Melbourne. Temperatures around about 18 degrees, going for 21. The penetrometer 4.01. The track is good. We've seen some wonderful racing so far, including the winner of Platinum Scissors in the Amy Norman Robinson Stakes. A reminder about our tribute to the victims and families of the Bali tragedy. Sunday night from 6:30 Eastern Time, Australians Unite. Check your local newspapers, but the number is 1800 339 888. So 4 races down here. Race 8 today is the $2.5 million Carlton Draft Caulfield Cup, and let's have a look what they're paying at this stage.
Number 1, Northerly, $5.30. 2, Universal Prince, $14.40. 3, San Mason, $110. 4, Helene Vitality, $14.40. 5, Fields of Omar, $5.80. 6, Freemason, $39.80. 8, Rain Gauge, $16.30. 9, Beekeeper, $8. 10, Carpstead Way, $54.90. 12, Dash for Cash, $8.30. 13, Pentastic, $9.60. 14, Prize Gem, $51.60. 15, Republic Lass, $14.40. 16, Distinctly Secret, $48.60. 17, The Second Mortgage, $18.40. 18, Tully Thunder, $50.20. 20, Hale, $55.60. And 21, Grey Song, $167.40.
Almost $1 million in the pool, over 900,000 in the pool so far, the win pool, and Northerly at $5.30. I spoke to you a few minutes ago and talked about Sunline, and we mentioned the fact that the strong rumour is that next week's Cox Plate will be her final run. She will be retired. Trevor McKee has just joined us, owner and trainer. Trevor, thanks for coming in at short notice. Is that the fact? Is this Sunline's final run next week at Moonee Valley?
This is right, yes. We've decided that next week's Cox Plate will be the grand finale for her.
What a fitting place to go out on. I mean, she's been in 3 Cox Plates for 2 wins and a second. I mean, just the appropriate stage for you to finish her career?
Well, that's why we feel that it's terrific to be able to get her there for the 4th time, and win, lose or draw, we feel that would be the fitting final for her.
Trevor, all we know about racing gives us the impression that a 7-year-old mare cannot be at her peak, but she is a freak, she is a champion. Can she be as good as she's ever been in the Cox Plate at Moonee Valley next Saturday?
Well, I would say she can't be as good, but she's not far removed from it.
Do you know if the club is now going to do something special for her on this day? I mean, the race itself is such a cornerstone of Australian racing, but will there be a tribute to Sunline on this day?
Well, it could be a possibility. I haven't been talking to them. It's one of those decisions. That's